In the windswept hills of Ireland, there lived a horse unlike any other. They called him the Black, a stallion forged from lightning and thunder. His coat was the color of a moonless night, and his spirit was as wild and untamable as the Irish Sea. He was a phantom, a legend whispered on the wind, a magnificent beast that no one could get near. Horse traders, seasoned ranchers, even the bravest riders, they all tried and they all failed. The Black was too powerful, too fierce. He was labeled a killer, a lost cause, a monster that belonged to no one. Every attempt to break him ended in chaos, reinforcing the stallion's reputation as a dangerous and unpredictable force of nature. His eyes burned with a fire that seemed to say, "I am not yours to conquer." For years he ran free, a majestic but lonely king of his own domain, his story a cautionary tale told in hushed tones. Meanwhile, in a quiet corner of the world, a young boy named Alec lived a life of silence. After a traumatic shipwreck that claimed his father, Alec lost his voice. The world around him buzzed with noise, but his own was locked away, trapped by a grief too deep for words. He was a ghost in his own life, watching from the sidelines, unable to connect with the people who cared for him. Doctors couldn't help, and his mother's loving pleas were met with the same heart-wrenching silence. Alec felt as lost and alone as the wild stallion he had only heard stories about. He spent his days wandering the fields, his heart aching with a loneliness that mirrored the untamed spirit of the legendary horse. He found solace not in people, but in the quiet company of nature, where he didn't need words to be understood. One day, Alec's wandering led him to a secluded pasture. And there he was, the Black, not a myth but a breathtaking reality. The stallion stood, powerful and proud, his muscles rippling under his dark coat. But as Alec drew closer, he didn't see a killer. He saw something else in the horse's dark, intelligent eyes, a flicker of fear, a profound loneliness, a spirit that had been deeply misunderstood. Just like him, Alec wasn't afraid. He felt a strange pull, a sense of kinship with this creature that the rest of the world had given up on. He didn't try to rope or command the horse. He simply sat, day after day, offering not a bridle, but a quiet presence. He brought the horse sugar cubes, placing them gently on a rock and retreating to a safe distance, a silent offering of peace and friendship. Slowly, incredibly, something began to change. The Black, the horse that had bucked and fought every human who approached, began to soften. He started to watch the boy, his ears perked with curiosity rather than aggression. He would cautiously approach the sugar cubes, snatch them up and retreat, but each day he lingered a moment longer. He saw no threat in Alec, only a quiet, gentle soul. Alec never rushed. He just waited, his patience a silent language the horse began to understand. A fragile trust started to form between the two outcasts, an unspoken bond woven from shared solitude. In the silence between them, they found a connection that words could never capture. Alec would sit and watch the horse for hours, and the Black would graze peacefully nearby, a silent guardian and his quiet companion. This bond grew stronger with each passing day. Alec was eventually able to touch the stallion, his small hand stroking the powerful neck that had thrown off so many others. The Black didn't flinch. He leaned into the touch, a low nicker rumbling in his chest. It was a moment of pure magic. Alec had done the impossible. He hadn't broken the horse's spirit. He had earned his trust. Soon, with nothing but a simple rope and a whole lot of courage, Alec was on the stallion's back. And they ran. They ran like the wind, a boy and his horse, two halves of a single, soaring spirit. They were no longer two lonely souls, but one entity, flying across the green Irish hills, a symphony of silent understanding and shared freedom. It was a sight that left the local townspeople speechless. One day, a famous horse trainer named Henry Daly saw them. He had heard the tales of the killer stallion and was stunned to see a small boy riding him with such ease and grace. He saw beyond the wild reputation and recognized the raw, uncapped potential in both the horse and the boy. He saw a champion in the making. Henry approached Alec not with force but with respect. He saw the unique connection they shared and knew it was the key to everything. He offered to train them not to break the Black spirit but to channel it. To turn that raw power and lightning speed into the stuff of legends on the racetrack. For the first time, someone saw them not as broken or dangerous, but as extraordinary. Alec, though still silent, agreed with a determined nod. A new chapter was about to begin. Training was intense. Henry was a tough but fair teacher, pushing both boy and horse to their limits. They worked on starts, on pacing, on harnessing the Black's explosive energy. But the true training wasn't just on the track. It was about deepening the bond between Alec and the Black. Alec learned to communicate with the slightest shift of his weight, the gentlest touch of the reins. The Black learned to respond, to trust Alec's guidance completely. They became a seamless team, moving as one. Their silent communication was their greatest strength, a secret language no one else could understand. On the track, they were poetry in motion, a blur of black and a flash of determined youth, leaving everyone who watched in absolute awe. Henry knew he had something special, something the racing world had never seen before. The day of the big race arrived. The air was electric with excitement. They were the underdogs, the boy who couldn't speak, and the horse no one wanted. The other jockeys were bigger, more experienced. Their horses were polished champions with perfect pedigrees. The Black was a mystery, a wild card. As they stood at the starting gate, surrounded by the thunder of hooves and the roar of the crowd, the pressure was immense. The Black was tense, his wild instincts kicking in. For a moment, it seemed the chaos would be too much. But then Alec leaned forward, his hand on the stallion's neck, whispering his first word since the accident. He didn't shout it. He whispered it, a single, powerful word meant only for his friend. Home. At that word, everything changed. The Black's ears twitched. He steadied, his focus sharpening, his eyes locking onto the track ahead. The starting bell rang and they exploded from the gate. They were a force of nature unleashed. The Black ran with a power and a heart that no one could match. He wasn't just running a race. He was running with the boy who had saved him, the boy who had seen his soul. Alec rode not just with skill, but with love. They flew past the other horses, a dark streak against the green turf. The crowd was on its feet, roaring, witnessing the impossible. In that final stretch, boy and horse were one being, a single will, a single heart pounding toward the finish line. They crossed it, not just as winners of a race, but as victors over their own pasts. They had won. The silent boy and the killer stallion had become champions. But the victory was more than just a trophy. On that day, standing in the winner's circle with his arm around the Black's neck, Alec found his voice again. The words came tumbling out, not just one, but many. He could speak. The bond with his magnificent horse had healed a wound that no doctor could touch. He had saved the Black from a life of fear and loneliness, and in return, the Black had given him back his voice. Their story became a legend, a testament to the incredible power of trust, patience, and the unspoken language of the heart. It's a story that reminds us that sometimes the most broken souls are the ones that can heal each other, proving that even when the world gives up on you, one true friend can help you find your voice and run toward the sun. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to follow for more incredible stories.